It's time now for Countywide, a special presentation of Yavapai Broadcasting News. Join Paul David and Kyle Benedict as they talk with our community's leaders, newsmakers, and people in the know. You'll hear about the hot topics that affect all our lives in Yavapai County. And now here's today's Countywide.
Welcome to Countywide. I'm Kyle Benedict. Today we are welcoming in Benevet again. It's been about a year and a half since Benevet was in here to Countywide talking about their Bowling Fest, their 8th annual Bowling Fest, I believe, on January 28th and 29th at Cliff Castle Casino's Shake, Rattle, and Bowl. And here in studio with Benevet, Mike Jacobson and Nikki Miller. Thanks again, guys, for being here.
Thank you.
So 8th annual, was that correct?
That's correct.
Wow, okay. So first off, how was last year's bowling event?
Every year it's gotten better and better. We still could use more participation for bowlers.
Okay.
We have some openings on Sunday that we could fill, but all in all, every year it's progressively gotten better and more support from the community.
Great.
So.
And we'll give out this information again, but benevet.azmind.com is where you can go to sign up for the Fun Fest. Want to make sure we don't call it a tournament, right? Because
Right.
Fun
That's
Fest,
too
right? I am not
serious.
a good bowler. I love to bowl, but I am a horrible
Okay, where are
bowler,
you?
so.
We'll look for you on Sunday.
I want to be with that guy. So first off, what is Benevet, and kind of just how did it get started? Whichever one of you wants to tackle that.
Well, I came up with an idea to try to help some veterans. I go over to the VA hospital for treatment. I'm a Purple Heart combat veteran from Vietnam. And I noticed that there was a lot of things that they needed that they couldn't get. Wheeze with balance beams. They had a problem with Japanese products and different things. The government's funny on funding some things, so we first started that. And that was our goal, was to try to get some wheeze with balance beams, and we got them in 2 of the clinics, and then computers for the library so the guys could communicate. If they didn't have cell phones, they could do it with email, and that way they could communicate with their loved ones without having to spend so much money. A lot of people can't afford those. Mm-hmm. So it just progressed on, and then as we made more money, we started getting into different rehab machines. Like the new step machine is what we're trying to do this year. We've already purchased new steps for them in the past, and I guess they're wearing them out. It's the 8 years, so they don't last forever. So we're right now we're more or less in a rotational kind of purchase situation where they wear stuff out, and they were expensive items to begin with. So we're continuing on to try to keep that base core equipment in there so the guys coming back with IEDs and different things can rehab on that equipment. I was blown up in Vietnam with an 82 millimeter mortar, so I understand what IED issues are. So we just wanted to go ahead and see if we could make a difference, fill some of those holes.
That's great. That's great. And so the focus, is it mostly on rehabilitation? Is that kind of the main part of it? So now, Nikki, how does Benevet learn what the needs are from these veterans? How does that work? Who tells you guys, and how does that get to you?
When we first started, we went to the voluntary services and said, this is an idea that we have, will you support us? And the woman, Sally Fine, was in there, and she was very, very supportive of what we did. And so she told us how to proceed and how to get in touch with the clinicians. And so we talked to the clinicians, and they told us what they needed. One story that was just amazing to me, the first year we talked to a physical therapist there by the name of Deb, and she said, I really need a hand therapy book. She said, I'm using a 1978 hand therapy book. Now, mind you, that was 2003 or something, or later than that. And so it was like, really? And she said, yeah. She said, they won't fund a new book for me. It was like $350. And so we bought this book for her, and it has a CD in it with clinicians, specialists that are in there. So if she's got somebody that comes in with a special problem that she doesn't know how to address, she can get in touch with them and work to help give therapy to this person. And she's since then ordered another one, and every time we've been in there, she says, I use this book 3 or 4 times a day.
Wow.
And the anatomy of the hand doesn't change, but therapies definitely do. And so, you know, it was amazing. And that was heart-rending to me. It was like, oh my gosh, we are not helping these veterans when it's so inexpensive to help them in that respect. And so obviously we've gotten some more wish lists that are much more expensive than that, but it's remarkable. And at the bowling tournament, we donate 2 lanes for veterans that are in rehab. So we have 8 people come in and bowl with us, and some are in wheelchairs and some are just having, you know, they're in the rehab program, and they appreciate it so much. And I think they appreciate more seeing a full bowling house, knowing that all these people are out there supporting their rehab.
Trying to help them.
Right, yeah, I think that support, I mean, just seeing that support it has to be, I mean, just such a great feeling for a veteran, especially as you mentioned, Mike, for somebody who has gone through that rehabilitation. I mean, it seems like once, I mean, you're injured, you're over there serving your country in combat, you get injured, you come back here, and it's almost like the work is just starting all over again to rehab. So since the beginning of Benevet, when did Benevet get started? 2010, I think, was when that 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, yes. Okay.
This is our 8th year.
Yeah.
So 8th year, okay, yeah, so that makes sense. So since the beginning, how has the organization kind of evolved, and have you guys added any more services or done, I mean, just anything's
We
changed since
mix
then?
things up as far as the needs within the Northern Arizona veteran community.
Okay.
We've helped the American Legion, we've helped the NAU student veterans. They've got their own computers and their own like room
Military
where they
spot.
can go, and that way they're isolated within their own veteran groups where
They feel more comfortable.
they're more comfortable in that environment. So we've got computers and different things for them to use.
And we've helped the vet
We've
center.
helped the vet center with gas cards for people that aren't rated yet, or families that have a husband maybe deployed in Afghanistan or wherever in a combat situation for years, and it takes a toll on their families. So sometimes the families and the offspring of the veterans need counseling. So we try to provide, like I said, gas cards for the vet center, whatever they needed. We've helped them with some different things, but we don't just focus on any one thing. If we find there's a need from another group and we have extra money left over, then we go ahead and try to use that money to fund different things and then start the next year all over again. One of the things that, besides this new step machine that we're doing this year, is we're continuing on with a program that we've funded that the VA has never funded, and that's the Neuropsych Online. And that's where it's a computer program that's shared with the clinician at the VA hospital, and they can directly interact with a person at their home, and they can give them things to do from home so that they don't have to go through loading them up and hauling them to the VA and doing all of these things if they've had strokes or whatever.
This is for speech therapy
And it's
mostly.
not just combat veterans in that situation. Anybody that's a veteran that's had a stroke or anything else, we help them that way.
Okay, well, I'll tell you what, we're going to take our first break, but when we come back, let's talk more about that program, because that's very, very interesting, especially when you can do so much from home and don't have to go through the whole trouble to get there. But we have Benevet in studio. Their Bowling Fest, Fun Fest, is January 28th and 29th at Cliff Castle Casino. Benevet.azmind.com is a great website to sign up, and just for more information on this, we're going to take a quick break. Countywide back in a couple minutes.
Take a look under your bed. Find stuff under there? What about jobs? No? Now try your closet. Still no jobs? Just more stuff? Well, you really have both. See, stuff is defined as household articles considered as a group. Sometimes this stuff is no longer needed. Wait, no longer needed? That can't be right. Because remember those jobs you were looking for? Those are really needed. And they're the stuff inside your stuff. Our job is to unlock those jobs. And it starts when you donate your stuff to your local Goodwill. Here's how we do it. When you donate to Goodwill, we sell your stuff to provide job training for people right here in your community. So just by teaming up with Goodwill, you help create jobs. And isn't that worth parting with the leftover keytar from your 80s cover band? Goodwill. Donate stuff, create jobs.
Me and my boy Matt had it good. He had catnip that was off the hook. But one day, he brings a girl home, and she's allergic to cats. Every sneeze was a nail in my coffin. Now I'm in a shelter. It's decent, but they don't even have Wi-Fi.
Look at you. You're at the top of your game. You're unstoppable. Nothing can throw you off track. Wait, is that your car? Uh-oh. Yeah, I saw that coming. That will throw you off track. You're looking at around 10 grand in fines, legal fees, and increased insurance rates. Let's try this again. Smart move. Because buzz driving is drunk driving.
Welcome back to Countywide. I'm Kyle Benedict, sitting down with Mike Jacobson and Nikki Miller with Benevet. They have their Bowling Fun Fest coming up on January 28th and 29th at Cliff Castle Casino's Shake, Rattle, and Bowl. And you can sign up for that at benevet.azmind.com. Also a good phone number, 928-592-9137. That works. First off, before break, we were talking about the Neuropsycho online class or program. But first off, behind us, for people watching on Verde Valley TV, we have this really beautiful quilt behind us. Can you tell us a little bit about that and where that came from, Nikki?
Yes, the gentleman that donated that to us was a veteran, and his wife made that for him, and she has since passed away. And he knew that we were doing this program and doing the Bowling Fun Fest and heard that the quilts were one of the big raffles. And so he wanted to donate that to us for one of our raffles, so it will be there this weekend or next weekend, and we'll generate a lot. We have 4 more quilts, so we're trying to figure out if we're going to have a quilt raffle or if we're going to put them in everything else.
Right. Well, it's it's huge.
Isn't it
it's
beautiful?
Thick. Yeah, it is. That's great.
It's a California king, so somebody worked a long time on that.
Wow. Yeah, I imagine so. To me, that looks incredibly difficult to make,
Oh,
but it's warm while we were hanging it up there. It's really
A lot
thick.
of time.
So before we went to break, we were talking about the Neuropsych Online program. Did I say that correctly?
Yes, Neuropsych Online.
And again, could you just kind of reiterate what that is and exactly who that's for?
Well, it started out. It starts in speech therapy, and that's the clinician that has requested this funding. Veterans that have had strokes or have had IUDs and have stroke and speech problems may be in the hospital for a long time, and then they finally get released, but they still need to go through therapy. And so what they've done with Neuropsych Online is that they've developed the computer system where the patient can go home, do therapy on the computer, and work with the clinician through the computer, and then go to see the doctor once a month or once every 2 weeks instead of daily for therapy. And so the clinician can keep in touch with them and make sure they're doing their therapy daily, but they don't have to get loaded up in a wheelchair and taken back to the hospital. And it's been quite successful. The hospital was given this opportunity first off through a grant, and then the grant ran out, and the VA wouldn't fund or couldn't fund it. So that's when they came to us and said, this is a program that really seems to be working, and we are going to lose it. Can you help us? And so we started funding this several years ago. We have given probably close to $12,000 or more into this, way more than that,
Way more
probably,
than that,
yeah. Because we gave $5,600 a couple years ago. And so it is a necessary program, especially for those veterans that need it.
Wow. So how can somebody get involved in that if there's a veteran out there who does need that? Do they just contact you, or is that through the VA
No,
or their doctor?
they would have to
Okay.
go through the VA in order
Okay.
to qualify for that. But one of the things that it actually does is that it frees up a van to go pick them up. Yeah, the people that it takes to do that, another person to wheel them all the way up to wherever their therapy is, and then reverse that process, take them home, and so
Plus the stress on the veteran. I mean, when
Right.
you don't feel
That's the
good,
main
you know,
thing.
you don't want to do that. And so if you can keep that veteran involved with his healing process and it's not as stressful, they're going to stay in the program longer.
Yeah, not only do you not want to go to the doctor, I mean, you don't want to have to go through the whole, I mean, for somebody who it's difficult to get to the doctor.
Right.
I mean, that's got to
and
be
it's a rotational
difficult.
basis type of, you get so many subscriptions, and that's based on people that are on the program. But as somebody rehabs and gets off the program, it makes space available for another person to get on it. So it's rotational.
Okay.
So that just, each time you buy a subscription, it's for the whole year for that. So as one person drops off, then another picks it up, and that just keeps on going.
Wow, that's amazing. I mean, it's just such a great idea for a program, right, like that. I mean, it makes it just so much easier on everyone involved, right? So you mentioned the success last year with the Bowling Fun Fest over there at Cliff Castle Casino and some of the machines here. Now, do you have any testimonies of people who have used these machines? I mean, I imagine they're getting a lot of use. You mentioned, Mike, at the beginning. Some of them are getting worn out just from all the use. But do you have any testimonies from them?
Sure. Mike Winters over at the clinic, one of the combat rehab clinics, rehabbed a dual Purple Heart Native American combat veteran from Afghanistan, and he was pretty much told that he'd be in a wheelchair for the rest of his life. And Mike Winters rehabbed him on this machine.
The new
and,
step machine.
The new step machine. And there was only one in the whole VA hospital, and it was the most requested piece of equipment in the hospital for people to rehab on. So that's when we bought him another machine, and have continued on with different machines to buy. But he rehabbed on the new step machine, got out of his wheelchair, and is working, or was working the last I heard, at shipping and receiving on the dock at the VA hospital, which is not just a paper pusher type of job. So not only did he rehab, he's a productive member of society again, out of a wheelchair.
Did he get out of the wheelchair, and he's not just walking around? I mean, he's lifting stuff. He's working on the dock. That's not an easy job.
Well, the
And you have
interesting
to give him a lot of credit.
Definitely.
Because it takes a lot of wherewithal to
Yeah.
keep on it when you're in that situation. And when you get into the type of combat veterans that we meet and I served with, those people have a resolve that is different from normal people. They have a different pain threshold and a different will to succeed. So that's what it takes also. But
Well, the new step machine is an interesting machine because it's a machine that people can sit on, and the doctors can calibrate how much pressure. So what they do is they keep the weight off your bones and stuff, but then you exercise your muscles, and so they can time it. They want you to do this for 2 or 3 minutes. So they can set the machine. What was interesting to me was talking with Mr. Winters after this gentleman rehabbed. He said that he actually holds the record on that machine. They basically could run a marathon on that, and it was amazing to see. The other neat thing about that is that he was the gentleman that delivered the new step to us when we ordered it. He actually delivered it to the clinic, so it was
awesome
it
is
was
that?
a really neat story.
There you go. That's another example of he's not just walking around. I mean, he's lifting stuff, and I imagine that huge machine is not light. So we're going to take our second break, but when we come back, we're going to talk about the Fun Fest, the Bowling Fun Fest coming up on January 28th and 29th, and exactly how that works. There's a lot going on those 2 days over there at Cliff Castle Casino. So again, benevet.azmind.com is a good website for all this information and more. This is Countywide. We'll be back in a couple minutes.
Todd's a great guy. I mean, Look at him. What a sweetheart. Attaboy. Wait, Todd, what are you doing? How totally selfish and un-Todd-like of you. Come on, Todd. Come on, man.
Take a look under your bed. Find stuff under there? What about jobs? No? Now try your closet. Still no jobs? Just more stuff? Well, you really have both. See, stuff is defined as household articles considered as a group. Sometimes this stuff is no longer needed. Wait, no longer needed? That can't be right. Because remember those jobs you were looking for? Those are really needed. And they're the stuff inside your stuff. Our job is to unlock those jobs. And it starts when you donate your stuff to your local Goodwill. Here's how we do it. When you donate to Goodwill, we sell your stuff to provide job training for people right here in your community. So just by teaming up with Goodwill, you help create jobs. And isn't that worth parting with the leftover keytar from your 80s cover band? Goodwill. Donate stuff, create jobs.
Morning, Gary. We are GetSchooled.com. You want a college education, don't you? You know you do. That's why we're here. We're free and here to guide you through every step of the way, starting with attendance. Gary, financial aid forms. Picking a college, man. You and us. Go together like tacos and Tuesday.
And I love tacos. Go to GetSchooled.com.
Welcome back to Countywide. I'm Kyle Benedict, sitting down with Mike Jacobson and Nikki Miller with Benevet. Their Bowling Fun Fest, January 28th and 29th at Cliff Castle Casino's Shake, Rattle, and Bowl. We talked a lot about them, with what Benevet does, and getting equipment for rehabilitation for veterans and so much more. But first off, I guess we have a couple minutes left, about 90 seconds left. Tell us a little bit about the Fun Fest, what people can expect.
Okay, well, don't come thinking it's going to be serious, because it's not. I put chill pills on all the tables and tell people to chill out if they're serious, because it's just supposed to be fun.
Right.
We do a no-tap, which is a 9-pin strike. We bowl in the dark. And we have a red pin, head pin, so if you get a strike on a red head pin, we give you a raffle ticket. And we've got thousands of dollars worth of raffles. And then the next group is called All Mixed Up, and it's a 9-pin no-tap, a regular, a baker's doubles, where, Kyle, if you and I were partners, you'd throw the first ball, I throw the second ball. And a Scotch doubles, where you throw the first frame, I throw the second frame. And so it's just a fun thing. We like to have 4 people on a team, but if you want to bowl, we'll see if we can find somebody to fill a team if you can't bowl, find one. But it's $20 to bowl, and all the money that we raise, we buy the equipment that we're at least our goal is to buy the equipment that we've been tasked with this year.
And I think especially with an organization like you, people know where their money's going, right? Yep. I mean, that's a big thing with a lot of these charity organizations.
And we give back to the veterans. Like, you get in early, you get an early bird t-shirt with the Benevet on it. Shows all our sponsors on the back.
Cool.
And we do that every year. So if you get in early enough, we try to make things so that
I want to just say very quickly,
for $20 they get a shirt and the bowling and everything. That's a pretty great deal.
Definitely.
I just want to thank all of our sponsors. Our sponsors group keeps getting larger every year. We appreciate that very much. They allow us to be able to print the t-shirts and stuff that we do. And then also the people that donate to us, because we, like I say, have thousands of dollars worth of raffles. Without them, we would not be near as successful. And to all the bowlers that come out and have fun.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And like you said, it's fun. Bowling Fun Fest, January 28th and 29th. Again, we hear a lot about the support from the community with a lot of nonprofit organizations, especially throughout Yavapai County. So I'm glad to hear that you guys are getting a lot of support and continue to get a lot of support. And you guys are doing a great thing. So thank you both for being in here today.
Thank you.
And again, Bowling Fun Fest for Benevet. All the proceeds go to Benefit Veterans, January 28th and 29th at Cliff Castle Casino's Shake, Rattle, and Bowl. Again, benevet.azmind.com, benevet.azmind.com to sign up. That's going to do it for today's Countywide. We'll talk and see you next time.